And hello, 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 hello. Hey, babies, how are you out there? What's going on? To everyone who is looking and will be paying attention to this, whether you are watching me on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram or whichever entity that I decide to put this in. I am coming to you right here, right now, live and in living color. And wanted to say hey and all of that. I see a lot of you guys are coming up in here real quickly, real cutely. That there was really, 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 really fun. So I want to talk to you guys about a few things that are on my mind today, honey. So these are the Donut Factory commentaries, darling. So for those of you who don't know who I am, this is Demetrius Big Meats Taylor, honey, and you're dishing the tea, darlings. With Big Meats right here and right now. So on this edition of the Donut Factory commentaries, my darling, I'm going to be touching on a couple of things. So I hope you got a lot of crumpets with you or whatever, and let's get this thing started. So I see many of you are coming up in here. I see my nephew is up in here, and I'm seeing London B and Kenyatta and Joe. Hey, baby, what's up, my sexy friend? How are you? David is up in here, and carrying on. Chris, what's going on with you? I hear you out of town. We'll talk in a minute. I have not heard from you either, so yeah, we'll talk. Gregory just came up in here, so that's good. Please like and subscribe and share these videos and carry it on because, honey, I'm hoping to get a good conversation started with us, okay? Now, a few things I'm going to be talking about. One of the things that I know that I want to talk about right now is well, let me start here because, see, I don't want to get into this whole R. Kelly thing right now. And the reason why is because I've not weighed in on it. I have not given a full commentary about it. And I know many of us are probably sick of talking about it. However, I want to give a perspective that I think I'm going to take time to do that. So for those of you who are wondering how come I haven't said anything, that's why I'm trying to give it some time because I want to sit with this and carry it on. But there's a number of things about that I'm very pissed off about. At the same time, I'm going to say this to the Black LGBT community. And the reason why I'm saying the Black LGBT community is because we have got to be loud and we have got to learn how to be vocal. A lot of times, see, we're too busy being quiet and we shout about the wrong shit. But I want to talk about this Ed Buck thing. I've been sitting on this for a minute because we were supposed to be doing something differently with that. But it's too important for me not to be vocal about it. And I need for you guys to become loud and vocal and to protest and to really get out there and, you know, where are the Black Lives Matter children and carrying on, honey. I need for the LGBT community to sit down and the Black LGBT community and make some noise. We have a number of issues going on here with the Ed Buck thing. And for those of you who are unaware of what this Ed Buck thing is, this is the politician. Well, he's not a politician. He's just into politics, and he's been a major contributor to the Democratic Party and stuff. You know, he's doing his thing and putting his money and stuff. And what has been happening, he's an openly gay man. According to my research or whatever, he came out to his family when he was 16, and there was some upset there and et cetera, et cetera. But he's an openly gay man who, there has been two black gay men who have been found dead in his apartment. Now, the first one was a year and a half ago, and then earlier this month there was a second person. Was it this month or was it late last year, late December? It was just recently where this man has had two black men, their dead bodies were found in his house. Now, the reason why I'm saying that the black LGBT community need to be loud and vocal is because, well, quite frankly, let's start with the obvious. Where is the whole LGBT community at on this period? I have not heard of the outrage. I have not heard no backlash. I have not heard anybody saying burn the motherfucker at the stake. I have not heard of anyone saying that this is a heinous crime. What is going on? Why aren't we looking into this? I've not heard that from anybody from the LGBT community at all. And if it's out there, it's not where it has been a public outcry or it has been any noise. Secondly, I'm isolating us as a black community because here we have our black LGBT brothers out here being targeted and being preyed upon, and no one is saying anything about it. No one is up in arms about it. We have turned and have tuned a deaf ear to this and made it seem as though this here has become a natural thing. Now, the reason why I say that is because of the circumstances behind it. It is said that the man was sitting up there injecting these kids with drugs. Now, the way how the news reports are saying it, they're making it sound as if he had taken them home and, got them up under their wheel and carried on, and they just started to, to inject them with these damn drugs and carrying on. And I want to say this. I don't believe it was that cut and dry. I believe that what has happened was we got into a situation where there was a party and play situation where the folks are sitting up there, you found your companion for the evening, and you go home or whatever. In order to get into the mood, honey, everybody wanted to get a little high and this, that, and the other. And the drug of choice was crystal meth. Now, from what I'm understanding about that particular drug, I don't know it. I've never used it. I don't even know what the fuck it looks like. But from what I'm understanding, hold on. Y'all know I'm at work. Copy. Y'all know I'm at work, honey. What I call these the donut factory commentaries. So what is happening is the party and play children sit up there and they do just that. They party so that they can feel as though they can lose their inhibitions and get freaky and this, that, and the other. And we as a black community, a black LGBT community particularly, I need for us to govern ourselves and to look at that as, I believe this is starting to become a health issue, and it is starting to become an epidemic. That's what I'm looking at, an epidemic. Because we have allowed ourselves to want to get into this particular space. Now, listen to me very carefully. I don't want to sit down there and crowd on your parade. I don't want to sit down there and come busting your bubble and carrying on and try to tell you how to fuck and how to do you. Okay? If you feel as though partying and playing is your thing, then by all means, honey, have at it and do what you feel as though that's going to make you happy. In the meantime of doing you, my darling, I'm going to suggest that perhaps, darling, you sit down here and you pay attention. You become more careful with the shit that you're doing. Stop doing this shit haphazardly. Why is it? Now, I believe that the two guys end up overdosing on the shit. Okay? And it just so happened to be with this guy. Right now, the jury is still out. It's a little too early to find out if he has been preying upon these folks or if he is some kind of serial killer, if this is a Jeffrey Dahmer Part 2 kind of thing of that nature. But from what it sounds like, it sounds as if this man here is, out to party and play with the children. Okay? Now, from what I'm understanding, the latest victim, the Timothy Dean, I believe that's his name, he's a former porn star. I don't know who he is. I haven't seen him. I got to go look up his work. Or let me say, I'm gonna say porn star. We'll say a former adult film actor, because everybody's doesn't necessarily become a star. So for whatever that is, these children have gotten into these particular places, and we put ourselves at jeopardy. We put ourselves at risk, and carrying on. And I'm approaching it from that particular perspective because you're talking to someone. Y'all know I'm very open and very transparent parent about sex being my addiction. And I know when I'm caught up and when I'm in my rambunctious stage and when I'm falling off my wagon or whatever, I can put myself and let my inhibitions go and not be in the most brightest of light, or maybe not the most careful when I'm out and participating in some egregious and lascivious sexual activity, and just being caught up in all the debauchery of it. Okay. However, at the same time, this is something that we have to have an outcry about. We have got to learn how to police ourselves better than what the fuck we doing, folks. And how come we are not on the forefront sitting up here saying what the fuck is going on? Now, from what I'm understanding, I was listening to Tariq Nasheed. And I listen to him periodically from time to time. I can only take him for so long because he'll get into his whole little rant and things, and I have many. His points are valid, but then he has a point to a point, and then he gets into his bullshit of a rhetoric, and he starts to lose me. However, what he did do was on one particular episode just a few days ago, we were talking about this Ed book stuff. He brought on someone from the LGBT community who called in, and the child was saying that Ed is known in WeHo, that's West Hollywood. He's known, he has a reputation of being, one of the freaks and one of the scaredy cats and this, not a scaredy cat, but he's known to be one of the strange ones. It was said that, the kids, when they see him at the club, they know not to go fuck with him for the most part. Those who have scruples about themselves, or that's not their scene, they know that one there you don't fuck with. You know what I'm saying? Where are our Judys and Karen? Y'all know how we go out to the clubs. If you're going out to the club in a group, you know what's the rule? If we come together, we leave together, right? If you decide to sit up here and say, bitch, I got to go dip and take care of this, then what's the rule, honey? You bring that motherfucker to the table. Everybody get a good look at this bastard so we can find out who the hell he is. Bitch, when you get where the hell you going, you call somebody. Now that we can text, you text somebody, bitch, I'm at this address, this, and this, in case something go down or y'all need to come and get me ASAP. That there is protection. That is what the fuck it is that we supposed to do. But I'm going to tell you something. See, some of the masculine brothers, I had this conversation a while ago, where some of the masculine children feel as though they don't have to do that because, oh, hell, I'm a man, I can handle it, and feel as though that kind of shit there, that just in case protection stuff is too much of a queen thing. You fucking feminine, y'all fags do that shit. Y'all feminine children do that shit. I don't need nobody checking up on me. Then it was said, well, why do I need to tell you where the hell I'm going? Because perhaps I don't want you to know that I'm getting a hookup. Maybe I don't want you to know. Maybe this is my whole little, okay, fine. But it's shit like this that gets us in trouble. And it's shit like this to where when nobody know what the hell is going on, can't nobody find your ass. You know what I'm saying? We have got to do better with protecting ourselves and making sure that we give ourselves permission to say that we matter, honey. Black LGBT lives matter too. Okay, if that's going to be a little colloquialism or something or whatever, where are the children? Okay? Now, we get a whole big old backlash, and y'all have heard me say this in the video before, that our negative pundits and carrying on, they get upset with us because they're saying, well, the LGBT community, they want us to accept them and they want us to fight for their causes. But yet when something goes down in the bigger picture, they're not there to support. We don't hear them in the same numbers and carrying on that we would hear them say when gay marriage was on the ballot and everybody wanted us to the fight was, supported. But I at first I used to sit back and I used to challenge that, but now I have to I have to say no. They have a point there. Because where are we? I mean, hell, look at this. This here, we got 2 black men who were found dead in this man's apartment. The same man. The same man. We done found 2 black men have come up dead. And there's no public outcry. There is no nothing. Have anybody got in touch with the families? What is going on? No one seemed to have answers. And this is something that concerns me because if it's happening now, it's quiet now. What's going to happen when this shit starts to get out of whack? Remember how, well, for those of you who are old enough to remember, when Larry Kramer was on Donahue, when the whole HIV thing first hit, before it was called HIV, they used to call it a gay cancer. That's what he thought it was, or that was the name at the time. It was a rare gay cancer that was going around, and then they used to call it GRID, GRD, gay-related disease. Then it went from GRID to HTLV3. Then from HTLV3, it went to HIV and carried on. Hold on. So with that, we have at the time when it was first come out, nobody wanted to say anything about it, honey. Everybody, oh, you crazy. It was quiet. And then because it was only a gay thing or whatever at that particular time, honey, didn't nobody want to fuck with it. Oh, fuck y'all, because that's what it is. That's what you get for being nasty. And, you're going to burn in hell anyway, or this is God's punishment to you. All of that bullshit went on and about. So now I'm comparing that to this, because here we are at the start of something. Shit, hold on. Copy that. So here we are at this same beginning. Okay, we are onto something here. We're onto something where it has the potential of being some kind of epidemic, some kind of anything. When Jeffrey Dahmer, the whole Jeffrey Dahmer thing first hit, nobody wanted to sit down there and do anything. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wanted to believe that it was real. Nobody, it was just the lacklusterness of it all. Nobody wanted to jump on it until it was too late, until the boys got to running out the man's house butt naked. And I think they say he was bleeding from his rectum and carrying on at the time. So the question becomes, what will it take for us to jump on board before we decide to become vocal and stand up for what we know we need to stand up for? Black LGBT children, this here is us. This here is us. This man, and apparently, see, here's another thing to this that I want to, that is bothering me, because, see, we get this whole big old thing, with the R. Kellys, the Bill Cosbys, and all these, the Weinsteins and all that, because these kids got a little coin. It's seeming as though that the children with the coin are the ones who either have this sense of being above the law, or we don't put any stock in it because we feel that we can't fight them because they have coin, or no one wants to challenge them because they have coin. Maybe they feel that because they got the coin, it's hard to believe that this is something that they would do. You know what I'm saying? No. We need to get to the bottom of this, and we need to be as vocal as possible. We need to make sure that our interests are at stake. Where are we with where are we, children? Where are we? Why are we not outraged? Facebook should have been flooded with all of the articles. Facebook should have been flooded with conversations. Facebook should have been flooded by saying, for everybody who's out there in the West Hollywood, California area, for those of y'all who know what the fuck is going on, y'all should say something. For those of you who are in that party and place scene, y'all know what the fuck this shit is. You know what it is. Why would you sit down there and be quiet? Is it because you don't want your tea out there? You don't want to expose yourself to say, oh, well, you know what? This is something that I do. However, let's put some light on this. Because, see, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. Okay? Everybody got some kind of vice. and carrying on. Maybe folks may not agree and things, and they may have strong opinions, because I have strong opinions about those who do drugs and carrying on. I have strong opinions. I tolerate it because, hell, okay, but shit, I drink. I'm not an alcoholic, praise God, but my thing is drinking. So perhaps you may not like that. They always say a drunk ain't shit, and this, that, and the other. So whatever the thing is, we need to sit down here and get very vocal about this shit. And then we as a LGBT community, particularly a Black LGBT populace, we have got to become more vocal and become a little bit more on the on the forefront of this, so that we can sit down there and say, you know what, you's a damn lie. You do not need, we need to look into this. We need to find out what the hell is going on, because this man is out here killing us. Point blank. Whether it was an accident or not, how in the hell you partying and playing and 2 folks done came up dead because y'all shooting this shit up? Huh? Now tell me something. For those of you who are out there, what is why? Why is it? I personally cannot have sex while I'm drunk. Or, in that particular zone. I don't get high like that because I don't smoke weed. Well, let me put it this way. If you've ever seen me smoke weed or whatever, it's because I need to go to sleep. It's a downer for me. It puts me to sleep. Hold on.
People back in the house. All security cleared this time.
Copy that. But I choose not to do it because I don't like it. I don't like the high. I don't like the munchies. I don't like how it make you feel. It crashes and shit. I don't like that. Okay? So you won't see me in that particular light. Okay? But the question becomes, for those of you who feel as though you just got to have something to do, you just got to sit down there. This is part of your ritual to have fun. Okay, you got to have that joint. You got to go shoot this. And for those, particularly for those who shoot up the crystal meth, because I know some who smoke it. Okay, but there are those who shoot up and carry on. What is that? Okay, I want somebody to sit down there and become very transparent, and let's be honest about it, because if this is a recreational drug, then what are the pitfalls in it? Because what is it that you're getting out of it that takes you into this zone to where you have to be into this particular thing? You know what I'm saying? I really need to understand that. See, we need to start there to be honest about it. And then once we're honest about it and pull the covers back, then we can sit down here and go and pinpoint a few things. Because from the way this is sounding, it sounds like Mr. Ed Buck just sit up there and he put it out there, and you got the hustlers out there, everybody know the trade out. The traders out there that's gonna get the coin. The trader gonna do what they need to do to get the coin and or get high. So if that's the whole thing, then shit, you know what the fuck it is that you're doing. So why is it that this got to be that way in order to have a good time? I got somebody up here with a comment. Let me go to the comment. First off, let me say hi to everybody else that came up in here, because a number of y'all are up in here, and I want to see what's happening, okay? Let's see. Tracy, you came up in here. Hey, baby, how you doing? London, you said, yes, Lord, I know I am. Ha! Tracy, you say what? I'm still digesting the R. Kelly thing. Yes, so am I. G. Russell's up in here. Tanya's up in here. Tadarius is up in here. Tracy, you said this is the first I've heard of this. This is your first time hearing of this, child? Really? Okay, see, and which supports my point. Okay, why are we not vocal about this? Keith is up in here. Keon is up in here. B. Jamal, Calvin, Keonde, Lanier. Hey, baby, you're up in here. Jack Betts. Lonzo is here. Lanier, you say, well, too many LGBT black people with some level of notoriety got that way by starting to kiss and continuously kissing white light folks with coin. Ha ha ha. Okay, now see, let's go there because okay. We're gonna open up that door. And Jamal is up in here. Hey baby, thanks for coming up in here. Let's open up that door because see, let's go there. Let's go there because, and I don't, it's going to sound that way. So no matter how I put it, it's going to sound a little that way. And at this particular point, I probably don't care. No, not probably. I don't care. Let's just be honest about a few things. there's just some shit culturally, we as black folks done started getting into simply because it has either been a popular thing to do because we got white friends that do it, or we wanted to be a part of the in crowd because it was designer. You know, we trying to do something different than everybody else. We don't want to be like our you know, like the children down the street or whatever. You know what I'm saying? We trying to do something different. And a lot of times, most of that comes from us. You know, you're trying to experience the world. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing to not want to engage in other cultures, because that's how we learn. That's how we grow, when we experience other cultures. However, let's look at the downside of that kind of experimentation, because oftentimes a lot of the shit that we're going through, I'm trying to understand, you know, the whole party and play thing. Okay. Everybody, you know, like I said, black folks, we know how to do weed and we know how to drink and carry on. For those who were doing 51s back in the day, that's when you put cocaine or crack or whatever in your damn joint and you smoke it. Everybody got some kind of different name for it, but back in Detroit, we called them 51s. You know, it was always laced with something. Or somebody was trying to hit some mescaline and this, that, and the other. Or now, you know, everybody, the heroin done made a big comeback again. So we're always into this whole party and play atmosphere. But now that we got some certain drug like crystal meth, I've never heard of black folks doing crystal meth until I started seeing a lot of black folks in interracial relationships or hanging out with a lot of white folks at these rock concerts and carrying on, because you're trying to get in the zone. And so let's look at that from that particular standpoint. Is it something that we have to consider? That we have been inoculated by other cultures and stuff, and we have embraced it as ours. And so now the whole party and play thing with the crystal method, with the this and with the that, you know, is that what this is? Is that what this is? And it's coming out to be a grand scheme of destruction. You know, the pundits and the children out there are always believing that, you know, the white supremacy theory of, you know, they're trying to desecrate the black child and the black man. You know, that's a running theory now. So is this a part of that theory? Or is it a form of escapism? How is it? Here we go. Do we party and play because we need that extra boost to feel confident about our looks, about our sexual performance, about our body image? What is all that? Do we do all this to feel good about ourselves, to give us an excuse to say, oh, I'm finna have fun? Are you still dealing with the fact that you're LGBT to begin with, and in order for you to have sex or feel as though you're having sex or whatever, that you have to get into these particular zones in order to feel good about yourself? Is that what this is? Does this have a psychological component that we're not understanding? Okay. Lanier, you say, what? Oh my God, I'm so sick of getting hit up by guys who do PNP, knowing damn well that if I go there, I'll be surrounded by a bunch of limp dicks. Well, okay, you know what? And now that there is truth right there, because oftentimes, you know, the drugs, you know, you get it so much into the zone to where, hell, you know, got so relaxed, the blood don't flow right, and you know. Then, of course, you know, that causes sexual side effects and carrying on. Not, in addition to shit that you already taken because of your health issues. If you got high blood pressure, if you have sleep apnea, and like me, I have sleep apnea, and may not be on my CPAP all the damn time. So hell, that can cause problems if you're not getting no oxygen in your damn blood cells. Are you on psychotropic medication? You on Prozac, Ritalin, something or whatever? ADHD medicine, whatever that is, the medicines themselves have the fucking side effects, and then you go take recreational drugs on top of it. And so then, are you really having a good time, or does it become an excuse? Or are you taking it because you having sexual side effects or erectile dysfunction or impotency issues, and now this is a means of saving face because of whatever this is? You know what I'm saying? Why is it that we not look at this from an honest perspective. And for those of you who are HIV educators out there, I always say this to the CDC all the time. Why is it that we are not looking into these particular issues as part of the reason why folks are going raw these days? Because oftentimes a lot of the medicines and stuff that people are taking have sexual side effects. And if I'm struggling now, okay, with trying to keep my dick up or whatever, why would I sit down here and go through the whole thing of trying to wrestle with a condom when the medicines are already giving me side effects? We're trying to understand that. So I say this all the time. Every time I go get my HIV test done, I always ask the counselors, has the CDC done that? Because I really believe, and I know I'm off topic. I just switched topics, but I'm going to say this real quick. But the CDC, I always ask them about that because when we talk about prevention, when we talk about HIV prevention, part of the prevention message is not honest. They don't start off by saying nobody likes to use condoms, okay? They do not start off by saying that. They do not start off by saying that some of you guys are taking medicines and stuff that have sexual side effects. They do not do that. So now when we have all of that, plus we have the party and play people, what does that do to our HIV status? And here in Atlanta, where they say it done skyrocketed and carried on, and we got numbers high like a third world country, that there is not taken into consideration. But going back to the main point about partying and playing and escapism and this, that, and the other with this Ed Buck thing, why are we not transparent with this? What is it that keeps us so underground that now that we have the onset of what could be an epidemic with this man overdosing these boys in his house and 2 people that have been found dead in the same dude's house, why are we not talking about this and making it loud? Let me go back to the comments, okay? Lanier, you say, well, all the drug use is exactly what it is. That's why I speak so much against drugs, against drug use during sex. Escapism. Okay, come on now. Ascari, you say, well, I have found that a lot. Wait a minute, hold on. I have found that a lot of people who use crystal meth have deep-seated issues around gay sex, and the drug lets them release their inhibitions so they can ignore those issues. Now that there is, okay, now you know what, okay, let's talk. Because are we not in a position to where we are in a loving, I love myself attitude to where, we're looking at this from a healthy place? How is it, here's the question, because I'm using the word healthy. Is there a such thing as a healthy drug use or a healthy party and play atmosphere? Or is that an oxymoron? Because, see, in this whole Ed Buck situation, I'm telling y'all, child, the way how this is reading and the way how this is coming about, I really don't believe right now, and I know this is so premature, but right now I am not believing that this man set out to kill these children, okay? I do not believe that we have a serial killer in the making. I just believe that we have someone here who, has... Maybe he's into S&M or whatever his sexual appetite was or is. And then they partying and playing. And then it got too much and they OD'd because they say he's the one who injected the folks. So that means either, again, if he's doing all the injecting, he don't know what the hell their body was or their body is or whatever, don't know how much drugs they can take or whatever, especially if you're just meeting the kids. You don't know what they can stand or whatever. So you can't give them what you gonna take because shit, you know what sustains you. So why is it, so we have a lot of these particular issues here. But I need for us as a Black LGBT community to become vocal about this. We too goddamn quiet for my taste. We too fucking quiet, and this is why I have to do my part, because I can't challenge and charge the community to be vocal if I'm not going to be just as vocal. I need to be just as passionate, if not more, to charge everybody. You know what I'm saying? We got folks that done came up in here. Let me see how and say who's come up. Felix and Paul. Felix and Paula, what's going on, my babies? That's Detroit right there. Marie Coates, hey, how you doing, sweetness? How are you? Okay, As Skyra, you say, it's an oxymoron. Crystal meth is as bad as crack. You definitely shouldn't inject it, much less smoke it. Okay. Lanier, you say, I honestly know little about the situation, but I'm from the jump felt, I from the jump felt that they were accidental overdoses. Okay. Yeah, I'm agreeing with that. I really believe that these were all accidental, that they were both accidental. However, but hold on. Go ahead.
Get 27 walk 9 from 9 to 1 garage security here at this time.
That's a copy. Y'all know I'm at the donut factory, children. Okay. Damn, I lost my thought. But why is it that we have not jumped on this? I think I'm gonna stay there. Hold on. Lanier, you say what? And thank you for speaking on this. My Facebook feed is too empty on this. Okay. Thank you, baby. I appreciate that. The reason why I have to speak on it is because we have become, good night, baby. We've become too complacent and we've become too quiet and we have allowed certain things to become normal. You know what I'm saying? We have allowed certain things to become normal in our community, particularly. Now, let me talk to the lesbians out there because, see, my black lesbians, I don't know if you girls are going through the same things because, sadly, you know, as an LGBT community, we don't communicate with one another the way that we ought to. Particularly in black culture. So we don't know exactly how y'all rock and roll because we don't party together. But I know for black gay men, you know, this becomes a quiet thing. Okay, oh, honey, I got to do this. And especially for those who are on the stroll and feel as though, you know, I got to make my coin, I got to make my money, or feel as though they just want some excitement in their lives, you know. And it becomes all of that. I want to go back to that whole idea of escapism and the whole thing of I'm doing this because I have to give myself permission to have sex the way that I have sex. I'm not going to call it gay sex. I'm just going to say sex the way that I have sex. I'm attracted to men. I'm sexually attracted to men. And I get high or do what I do in order to give myself a reason or permission to do it. And I think that there becomes an underlining thing that's a little deep. And oftentimes in these particular kinds of conversations, we forget about that. We forget about the psychological component. I think we forget about the spiritual component as well because we've all been bombarded with some kind of spirituality in this. And however you believe that God don't love you, or if you feel as though you've let yourself down, for those of you who don't believe in God the same way that everybody does, or not at all, and you feel as though that, you know, perhaps you're not at where you want to be in life, perhaps you're not as successful as you want to be, or perhaps you feel as though you're not one of the pretty ones and have, you know, a lot of self-esteem issues, you know, in building yourself up and understanding your confidence. Perhaps you may feel as though you let folks walk all over you because you're too nice or too kind-hearted or whatever. And this is the only way that you can get folks to sit down there and, you know, to show you a little attention. You know, perhaps, you know, in your effort of wanting to have sexual relations, you know, this is the way how they see you because they've always seen you as the friend or the family member that they never had and never seen you as a sexual object. So now that you done got into the groove, or because both of y'all can sit up there and like the song say, blame it on the alcohol and other things, you know, this is something that we do to get our muse or whatever. So why, you know, why are we not addressing this? Why are we not looking into this as part of the bigger culture? And why have we accepted this, just plain on accepted this as normal? You know, I've always said that the coming out process needs to change. We have to really, 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 really look at the coming out process. And yes, it's different for everybody, but once the person is out, there's this period where it becomes what I like to say is reckless. And I was told by somebody to not call it reckless. It's all about discovery and exploration. I call it reckless because what ends up happening is, like most people, you become your new meat. your new meat, honey, in the market. So of course it's brand new meat. Everybody wants the best cuts of it, and this and the other. But after so long, honey, when you've been there on the market for such a minute or two or whatever, then all of a sudden that hoopla starts to die down, and what you once were, now, hey, you're not the spring chicken no more. So then, there comes that period of adjustment, and then what does that mean? So the coming out process, excuse me, the coming out process needs to be re-examined, because, see, what we do is fortify it, and we charge it, because the whole idea becomes get as much dick and ass as you can. Oh child, you young, honey, the trade out there gone, and we charge that to youth and kids. Child, go on and have fun. You young. This is what young folks do, and carrying on. So why is it that we don't look at this very seriously, and why do we not ask these particular questions? For those of you who are not part of the party and play crowd, okay, how do you deal with your party and play friends? Do you ask those particular questions, or does it become an argument because it becomes a judgmental kind of thing? Do you throw shade at them because maybe they do crystal meth and you do crack, honey, and y'all sitting up there battling over who's what? Maybe they smoking heroin and you sit up here smoking a joint, and it becomes that particular battle. Is it a judgment call, or do we actually sit down and say, okay, why are we actually doing it? And I know we don't, because see, that becomes too psychological. It becomes too deep. See, and it becomes, bitch, you fucking up my high, bitch, you fucking up the mood. And so it becomes that. So I know that we don't, but the question becomes why? Because if we're able to sit down here and to go into these particular areas, why do we not sit down there and charge it? You know what I'm saying? Here's one thing that we do that has become so normal that, wait a minute. Okay, there we go. I hit something. Here's something that we do that's so normal, child, that a lot of us don't even think that it's drugs. But when I used to work in the sex shop, child, and was selling this shit, it threw me off. And that's poppers. Okay? Yes, poppers. That's a drug, bitch. That's illegal. It is illegal to have poppers in the United States, child. They don't even call it poppers and stuff anymore. Not to sell it. It's called ammonitrate or video cleaner. How about that? Now, what the fuck is you doing going to the store buying video cleaner that you finna get to inhale? So again, I'm hoping I'm not throwing no shade as far as judgment is concerned. But then again, if I am, okay, charge it. But we do popper so much, and see, I'm gonna tell you something. For somebody who, I've had sex with somebody who was consumed with it, and child, I didn't like the taste of it because it was coming through his pores and all that kind of bullshit. It was nasty. No. And then when I used to sell that stuff, child, I would never forget this as long as I stay black on this side of creation, child. This white guy came into the store. He was such a lovely child. He was one of my favorite customers. I loved when he came in. Now, mind you, this is back in 1990. Okay. When I used to work for Uptown Bookstore back home in Detroit. And he used to come up in there, and at the time, we had all of them. We had poppers, we had hardware. Hardware was the one in the white package with the blue writing. Poppers was yellow with the red. They had one that was black paper with red writing, and I can't think of the other ones. But poppers and hardware were the two that were probably the most popular. He used to come in and get like 3 or 4 bottles of hardware all the time. And I was like, oh my God. And I know that it was a little round in the poppers bottle. It was always this little round little ball thing in it. I never knew what that was. And in the hardware didn't have that. But the dude sat up there and said to me, he said, I think they put a little too much bleach in this. I said, excuse me? And he said, yeah, when they make this stuff or whatever, they use a little bleach and things. But I think sometimes, because he was talking about the difference between the two, and he preferred hardware over poppers because poppers had too much bleach. Child, When I tell you, why are you buying this shit that is bleach that you are inhaling? Huh? Why? Now, let me be transparent since I'm talking about it. Damn. Copy that. Okay, let me hurry up. Because I got to put this stuff in the computer. I'm going to be transparent because one of my children, honey, was trying to get me into it because, you know, he's sitting up there doing it and things and, you know, oh, girl, you need to try this. And I said, no, I don't need to. And that bitch took that damn bottle, just put it up under my nose. And when I inhaled it, you know, I got this warm feeling in my head and right here in my chest, right? And I was like, oh, my God, you know, and I was like, okay, what is this? And now I'm asthmatic, so, you know, I got to feeling a little funny. And I was like, okay, well, wait a minute. But whatever it was supposed to do, honey, it didn't do me that way because, hell, I didn't feel sexual. I didn't feel like I wanted to be in the mood. It made me feel as though I wanted to get sick, you know. But I shrugged it off or whatever, but I didn't like that feeling. I was like, no, I can't do this. But, child, he swore by it, honey. And I know several people, honey, to where in order for them to loosen up to have penetrative sex or whatever, they swear by this shit. So here we go again. We going poppers. We done talking about crystal meth. We done talking about crack. We done talking about marijuana. We talking about alcohol, this, that, and the other. Why is it that we have allowed this to become so normal in our culture to where when shit like this happened with the Ed Buck thing, we're not vocal. We're not saying anything. Huh? We ain't saying shit, children. We ain't saying nothing. And this here becomes alarming, honey. Anytime you have death, okay, out of some kind of anything, honey, we have to look at this when it comes down to it. Now, we're in a very, 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 very sensitive climate now to where everything can be taken out of context and everything is considered to be some kind of racial or bigoted move or whatever. In this particular case, I don't think that that's what it is on the surface. I don't think this is a race thing right now. I don't think that this was a murder thing right now. Like I said, it's too early. But at the same time, we got two people who have just come up dead in this man's house, and none of us are sitting up there saying anything. We are not, I won't say none of us. We're not as vocal as we need to be to where we make this an outcry, to where we get the folks to go down here and investigate this and look at this for the real. Okay, let me go back to the comments and see what that came up in here. Brianna Nicole, oh, really, girl? Uh-huh. So you up in here, we'll talk. Peg, okay. Thanks for coming. Linnea, you say what? I've been there. The problem is most newbies to coming out never get their sense of individuality. Oh, I did, which is why practically all of the people from my early days of coming out are now out of my life. Very interesting. Okay, I'm going to explore that. Derek, you done came up in here. Hey, what's up with you too, baby? Okay, then you said, what, amen? You said, yes, I work at the Pleasure Chest. I know this, okay? Derek, you say, wow, okay. Then you say, during the union contract negotiations meeting, I confronted the owner on his hypocrisy about his anti-drug policy while he sells poppers. Really? Okay, how favorably did that go over, child? Okay, how favorable did that go over? Because that's very interesting that you would take that up. You know, Derek, you say that's crazy. It is, darling, but this is what we say is normal in our culture. Okay, Clayton has come up in here. Diamante is up in here. Hey, love to you, baby. Love from Detroit, she says. Love right back at you, baby. That's my hometown, honey. Motown. Okay, come on now. All right. So, yeah, I'm really here because I'm going to charge us and I'm going to challenge us, honey. This here is a call to action. This is a call to action. We as a people, as a Black LGBT community, okay, all the other letters, okay, the QIA, whatever, child, just LGBT plus, okay, all this goddamn alphabet soup. Y'all know how I feel about that. We have to We really have to get on top of this, and we really have to police ourselves. We have to sit down here and we have to take our own responsibility, and we have to hold ourselves accountable for our actions. Because here's the whole thing: them kids would not be dead, honey, if they didn't go over to that man's house thinking they were gonna party and play. Okay, now that's the first thing. They wanted to get something out of it, but then they got into this overdose situation. Okay, because it could have happened anywhere. What if that had happened at the bar? Now, how many of y'all have gone out to the bars and have seen folks flip out or trip out or whatever because they done tooted some bad shit? Or, or whatever, or got into car accidents and shit because they sitting up there trying to hoof and shit in the damn car. Crazy. And then you say, what? He tried to double talk and then he tried using the ingredients, making the difference in legality. You know what? It couldn't have been legal because poppers and shit are illegal to begin with. Because did they call it poppers and shit still? Or did they call it video cleaner like they do nowadays? Because they don't sell it like it's supposed to be, under its regular name, and it's still under the bag. It's a hush-hush situation. If you don't know what you're going in there to get, you're not going to get it. You know what I'm saying? And you say, well, I responded by asking, then why are we not allowed to refer to them as poppers? Hi, okay, here you go. See? To that he gave no response. Bam. Okay? Right there. Huh? Okay? Jim Monte, you say, coming in at the middle, can you catch me up on tonight's topic? Dear Monte, I started this off by asking us what are we going to do about the Ed Buck situation with the two black gay men who turned up dead in this man's house. Now, the first one died a year and a half ago, and just a few weeks ago with the new baby that done died. They say he was a former adult film star that died from a crystal meth overdose. They say he's been injecting folks with the crystal meth or whatever. And the way how that sounds, it just sounds that way, like he just locking them up and just doing it. And that's not what it is, I don't believe. I believe this is a party and play situation. And, they sitting up there trying to get their groove on or whatever. He sit up there, got the shit ready, and, was going to give them a shot or whatever to take them into their zone. And they end up ODing. And that's what I feel. But this right now, it's very, 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 very on the surface. On the surface right now, and it's very early. But in its infancy, we as a community are not addressing this the way that we ought to. We are not addressing this from a standpoint of we have a possible epidemic going on. And this man, honey, because he have a little bit of coin and he can sit down there and fund campaigns for the Democratic, Party. He got a little coin. He may have some of the best lawyers to get him off of some shit. But we're not exactly... we don't know what's going on. This happened in West Hollywood, darling. You said, wow, in what city? This started in West Hollywood out in California. However, we know folks around the country in your own little circles to where the party and play scene gets out of hand, and we have allowed this to become such a norm to where we don't address this situation. And because we just allow it to be a norm, or these two boys that are dead, we're not active about it. And I'm charging the black LGBT community to come forth, because here's the other thing that's pissing me off about this is that the LGBT community as a whole has not went to battle with this the way they would anything else. When them children didn't make the motherfucking cake for these kids to get married, child, everybody got outrageous and carried on. Oh, that's discrimination. They need to see that there, and I disagree with that. I was like, no, bitch, why didn't you go to the gay baker? Okay, we got a bunch of gay children, honey, who love to bake a cake, child. Why didn't you go to the gay baker? He said he didn't believe in it and carrying on, but y'all wanted to make a fuss about it. Okay, now, if we do that, how come we are not sitting up there saying this man here needs to be held accountable for his crimes? We are not there. We are not vocal about that. And this is where this particular thing needs to get into place. We need to get on. We need to get about our business, and we need to sit down here and make sure that whatever comes out of this, honey, and we always want to say that we want justice. And I don't say that. It's not justice that we want, honey. I need vengeance. I need this man to pay for what he has done, whether it was accidental or not, because see, now this is the second time that this has happened. So that means that this is a pattern. And according to some of the kids that have been on different radio shows and they've been interviewing a couple of people and little shits that I've been hearing, this man is known in the scene or on the scene to where this is what he does. Okay? This is what he does. And so, for those that the party and play is not their thing, they know not to fuck with them. But how come this is not out and about? We need to talk about this as a community, and we need to hold ourselves responsible and accountable for this kind of bullshit so that it won't happen to anybody else. Okay, we had a few more people come in. We had Hansel and Arthur to come in, and Diamante, you said, oh, the party town. And you say, what, Diamante? Yes, nowadays they party out in the open compared to back then. It was hush hush then. Yeah, it was hush hush because it was only those who were privileged that were going to play. And then too, you had to have the coin to play. And see, now the drugs now, number one, they're kind of cheap. Number two, they're so readily available and whatever to where everybody's looking to get high off of whatever. Everybody's trying to get away from whatever, they want to escape and get into that extra world or whatever. And I've said this constantly. We're so busy trying to prove how much of a freak that we are to where we miss the experience. We're so busy trying to prove that I could put my leg on the table, I could put the other one on the chandelier, I could swing back and forth like a goddamn orangutan, honey, while I'm sucking a dick, while I'm taking one, while I'm sitting up here jacking that one. We want to sit down there and show how much of a super freak that we are to where we put ourselves in any kind of predicament that ends up not being the best outlook for us. And then a lot of us charge it up to being young. Oh, well, that's just youth, honey, these kids. And we have to stop doing that because, see, I'll be 49 in about a month and a half, child. And at this particular stage of the game, a lot of these kids may not make it to 49. You see what I'm saying? And then for those in my age bracket who still feel as though they are 20 trapped in an old body or whatever, they're sitting up here trying to experiment with this bullshit. And they're taking themselves through all these damn changes. And now you're doing all these drugs on top of taking medicines and stuff for your other health ailments. And then we have a compounded problem. Okay. So this is why I'm charging us. This is a call to action, honey, to us as black folks, as a black LGBT community. I'm charging us to get on board with this. We need to be more vocal. These things need to be talked about. I'm going to shout out to Cleo Manango. Is that how you pronounce your last name, Cleo? He's one who I saw him on Roland Martin talking about this. And he and Roland are probably the only two people that I have heard vocally get on top of this, from an LGBT perspective. I've heard Tariq Nasheed talk about it. So, okay, but he came on it from a different angle. And okay, but he talked about it. But as far as everybody else is concerned, all of you who got blog talk radio shows like I do, if you have your Facebook Live platforms, if you have your YouTube pages, if you use Instagram Live or whatever feeds that you have, your Periscopes or whatever feed that you have, honey, all of us who have an opinion about this or have a means of a platform to bring awareness to this, we all need to be talking about this so that the law and those who are in charge can know that this is important to us, because we don't want this to become an epidemic. We do not want shit like this. This does not need to become the new Jeffrey Dahmer situation, because Jeffrey sat up there, took all them damn boys, honey, and nobody cared because they were gay. He sit down there, and y'all know the story. He would sit down there, flirt with them, get them back to the house, knock them in the head, and then he cut them up and he ate them. Cannibalism. So is that what it's going to have to take? This man here, he's sitting up there trying to get some cute little black dick, honey, and took these kids home because he promising them, oh, okay, I'll get you high. I've done that on a couple of occasions, child. I tell you, I'm very transparent. I took a couple of crackheads home a few times, child, back in my youth, trying to sit down there and have a party, okay? not knowing this food wasn't going to act right, you know. You know what I'm saying? So we've all done the stupid shit in our youth or whatever, but now we got to come up out of it and stop using it as an excuse because we know better. Those who are in my generation gap, honey, how come we're not showing the youth and giving the tools to the youth? Huh? Where's all of that? See, we're lost, child. We're lost. We are lost. We are lost. And we need to stand up and be heard. This is of importance. See, we talk and we fuss about the wrong shit. A lot of times we sit down there, y'all should be worried about a fucking housewife, okay, or a goddamn RuPaul's Drag Race, which is cute. But see, we hollering about the wrong shit. Okay, this here, people are dying because you partying and playing at the hands of a man who got some coin. Okay, and who can easily, if this don't get jumped on, can easily go up under the radar and do this again. Let's do better, children. Okay. Yes, child. That's a copy. Y'all know this is why we call this the Donut Factory commentaries, because I'm here at the Donut Factory. So having said all that, honey, I want you to consume and finish all of your crumpets, my darling, because the tea has been dished, and you've been dishing tea right here with me, Big Meech, okay? So I want you to share this video with everybody. Get this conversation, get it on and popping where you are, where you live, in your neighborhoods, in your households, honey, on your particular walls and on your pages. Let's get this out there, because I don't want this man, if he's going to be charged with anything, we need to make sure he gets charged for something, because, child, the kids that overdosed in your house. So we need to investigate that to make sure that the law is going to be served, not justice. I want vengeance, because see, justice can be served. It's just that oftentimes she's served cold, because justice would be, it may not be enough evidence to convict him and he'll get off. See, that would be justice. It may not be what we want. So I want vengeance, because I need for him to pay for his crime if there was one committed. If it's proven he committed a crime, because we don't have all the facts right now, if it is proven that this man has committed a crime and killed these babies, his ass needs to go up under the jail, honey. You understand? He needs to. So this is why we need to be on top of that. Let's make sure that we do what we need to do to make that happen. You understand? So on that, let me get to getting, because I got to put this shit in the computer and do my work, because I got to get out of here. I'll be walking around in a minute. So on that, my darlings, I love you all with the love of everything that is good and warm and wonderful and lovely and wholesome. And I share that with you. So until we meet again, honey, adios, arrivederci, sayonara, and all that other good shit. Ciao.